inside T-Mobile Arena, TJ DeSantis, and I'm getting the beautiful people coming up here. Yusuf Salal kind enough to give me a few moments. Yusuf, I love being in the building on Fight Night for a variety of reasons. But this is the time of year that I love it the most. We're getting these Hall of Fame introductions. Yeah, and you know, this sport is, I mean, it's weird to say in the grand scheme of all sports, this is still a sport that's in its infancy. And we're starting to get into that sort of territory where we're able to celebrate history in meaningful ways. The UFC Hall of Fame's been around for a while. I mean, you as a fighter, you see Zhang Weili and Joanna Jędrzejczyk getting the nod here in the Hall of Fame. It's got to inspire you to just be able to sit back and kind of be a fan for a moment and appreciate those that, get that recognition.
Oh, 100%. This is like everything, to be honest, that we work for as well, you know what I mean? So you get to see all your hard work that you've done for years, and now you become at peace with all the work you've done and all the stress that you dealt with, and you get to see it in front of thousands and thousands of people. So this is amazing, man. I'm very happy for her. She's a legend, and all the things that she's done. Amazing fight, by the way. That was one of the greatest women fights I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's the first women's fight to get put into the Hall of Fame, and you know, it's not an honorary title. That's one of the best fights of all time, and I think it's safe to say when you look at all the sports, mixed martial arts, I think the female side of mixed martial arts in its great moments, it's not just great women's mixed martial arts, it's great martial arts, and man, it's very fun and much deserving to get this honor. You're here tonight sort of as a fan. What is it like for you to, leave your 4-ounce gloves at home and just come here and hang out a little bit?
It means a lot, man. It gets you motivated. It gets you to see what you do. You get to enjoy your job in the outside perspective, you know what I mean? So it's definitely get you a little different look, and you get to promote yourself a little bit, and then you get to have fun as well. So it's definitely amazing for me, and I love it, and I love every moment of it, and I love the fans as well. So
you're still very active. Jens Pulver normally in this capacity. I feel bad for Jens. He got stuck in some weather. We got to clap. You are right. If I don't clap for Joanna and Zhang Weili, they might beat me up, So, but Jens is normally here on watch-along nights. Unfortunately, some weather preventing him from being on the ground here in Las Vegas. We got a first fight coming up here on the main card. It's going to be Drew Dober.
Oh, man, that's kind of,
Michael Johnson.
My God.
I mean, you know what? It's funny. You talk about history. Michael Johnson has been in the UFC for so long.
It's better? So long, yeah.
And this is the hardest sport, I think, to stay at the highest level for a long period of time.
And knocking guys out.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Absolutely, 100%. You are on a tear right now. I had to pull up your record. I was like, what has he been doing lately? Oh, nothing but winning 8 straight fights. This is a sport of what have you done for me lately?
Yes.
You've earned some brownie points winning 8 straight fights.
I appreciate it.
You know what? What's clicking for you right now? Why is it all working out so well right now?
I think the mentality and my faith and my reason, you know what I mean? I think those are the biggest things, you know what I mean? So I think I've been in both ways. I've been in the worst of the worst, get kicked out of the promotion, lose 3 in a row, then have a draw, and all these things, try different 2-weight classes. And so I've been through the gutter, as you say. Like, I've been through the whole thing. So for me, it's the experience. It was the best teacher, and I'm very grateful to have that experience and go through that experience. So I'm just excited for the future, my man, and I can't wait to go out there and fight again.
It's a lot easier to say that the more humbling experiences are worth their while when you're on an 8-fight win streak. But, there's that old saying, you either win or you learn. What has been your biggest sort of learning lesson that has allowed you to get to where you're at right now?
Being real with myself. I feel like as a human, not just a fighter, just a human, we like to go with the comfort, whatever is comfortable for us, and in a way of like, yeah, I don't need to do that, I don't need to do this. It's like, it's not like being real with yourself. Like, you're the only one that wakes up and look at yourself in the mirror, and you know if you did the job or not, if you did the work or not, and all that stuff. So I was young and dumb. That's what let me just say that way. I was young and dumb, and it took tough lessons, and that's why it's lessons. You know what I mean? It's not losses. It's learning experience, and it's been an amazing experience for me.
Yeah, you know, I've been around the sport for a long time, and it's funny when I talk to a guy who's, you know, early on in his 20s compared to maybe that same gentleman when he's in his 30s. And more often than not, when guys have put 10 plus years in the sport, they always say the same thing to me, is that they say, if I only have the mentality that I have now when I was 21, 22 years old. And it's like, the earlier that you can get to that sort of maturity, maybe youth isn't on your side anymore, but like that mental edge that you get, it really speaks volumes. I think the longer you put in this game, it tends to pay dividends just with that experience in your past.
100%. I still do believe experience is everything.
Right.
Experience is everything in this sport, and also the mentality, right? This sport is so mentally draining and mentally just attacking you all the time. So you have to be super real with yourself, but also very confident in yourself as well. So you can't be hard on yourself too much that you degrade yourself in a little bit, but so it is the hard balance, obviously, but this is why it's a sport. You know what I mean?
You know, looking at it, it is very much as mental as it is physical. And, you know, I think to the average person, the guy who goes into a 9 to 5 every day, they probably don't have the mental sort of fortitude to do this, because while you have to be real with yourself, you kind of got to be a little delusional as well.
100%. Oh,
right?
100%. You have to have, my teammate always say this, is like bulletproof confidence, but you also have to have that delusional a little bit. It's like, if you don't, it's like, what is your goals? Like, what is your dreams? You know, like dreams supposed to scare you. Dreams supposed to like get you excited, get you worked out. You know what I mean? So I think that's the difference between a 9 to 5 and guys pursuing dreams. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's how I feel about it.
You know, I don't like it when a fighter says, you know, I'm happy to not have a real job. Well, if getting locked in a cage with another trained assassin isn't real, I don't know what a real job is. But, you know, you do get to live a different life, you know. What is the one thing that you appreciate most about being a pro fighter that is, you know, maybe not having to do with fighting day in and day out? Do you like the freedom of being able to live an unorthodox schedule? Yeah,
I think it's a discipline. That's what I love the most. It taught me discipline. It teaches me discipline of, and like knowing like, hey, you're about to go get a workout, even when you're hurting, when you're tired. And then, like you said, you're looking across the room. There's your teammate.
Right.
That's another assassin that's about to come after you. That teammate. So that's what excites me about it. You know what I mean?
And if that teammate really loves you, he's going to kick the crap out of you.
Oh my God!
You know, especially if they think you're slacking. You know, and that's the thing too. Like you talk about that discipline. Some of the athletes, I think, that fall in harder times towards the end of their career, they don't want to retire, not because maybe they're not competing or you know, up to the level that they want to. They don't want to retire simply because that discipline, they feel, almost goes away. If I'm not training for a fight, what am I doing with my life? And you know, that is one thing that you don't have to worry about at all right now. You got 8 fights, you know, in the win column back to back to back to back. Is it hard, though, when you know you're kind of sitting around and you're like, I don't have a date, I don't have an opponent? What do you do to sort of, you know, stay ready and stay motivated?
It is hard, you know. I've been, again, experience taught me both ways of, I fought 5 fights in 1 year in the UFC, and then to go...
Which is unheard of these days,
but
you know what I mean?
Like, it was kind of a little insane. So for me, it was like, okay, because it was February to February, it was 5 fights, and it was like, to kind of found like a rushing in a way a little bit, and then like, once you get to a certain level, you have to slow down a little bit and really... These are die high-level fights, you know what I mean? So I think it comes back to finding that balance of, hey, like, don't rush, be patient, don't do it, but still be consistent and discipline stays in.
Yeah, if you are not a member of UFC Fight Pass, sign up. It's the biggest no-brainer in all of combat sports. We got the QR code on the screen, and
amazing app. My God!
If you
watch
sign up,
every fight. Oh my God!
Literally every one of your UFC fights are there, but also. You know, your ability to get where you're at, that's also archived on UFC Fight Pass.
Yes, sir.
You know, obviously you're here tonight. It's virtually impossible to be around the sport and not be a fan. But what initially brought you to be a fan of mixed martial arts?
To be honest, bro, I blame my mom. My mom is the one who put me into kickboxing when I was young. like super young out of kickboxing. And she's the one who kind of like got me in. And then when I came to the U.S., she was like, hey, he always loved kickboxing. You should put him into the kickboxing. And that's when I got introduced to the MMA world. So that was my introduction to the MMA world. And I'm a very competitive guy, man. So once I was in that world, you lost me.
Let's transition from the MMA world a little bit to the BJJ world.
Hey,
Mason
let's go.
Fowler.
Let's go,
Hanging
my
out.
man.
Mason, how are you?
Good, man. Great night of fights. The energy here is
Someone's going to turn on your microphone at one point or another. And do me a favor, Yusuf. You see that little slider switch under that blue one? Turn that one up.
This one?
No, the other one. Yeah, right there.
Turn me
Let's
up,
go.
turn me up.
There we go. More. There we go.
You got me?
With the
There we go.
There you go.
Gotta
I got
turn
you,
me
my
up,
boy.
man.
I got you, my boy.
I mean,
my boy.
I got you.
The guy's a UFC BJJ champion. Can we get him a working
A
microphone?
little something, man. Can I get a word in
I'm
over
about
here?
to say, bro. He's the
God
goddamn
damn.
champ, bro.
Yeah. How we doing?
We're doing great, man. The energy in here is amazing. 2 legends in the main event. Great card. I'm glad to be here live.
Yeah, no, there's nothing really like a UFC arena on fight night. And you've dabbled in mixed martial arts as well as just straight BJJ. You ever miss the big fight feel and you being involved in it? Not that BJJ's not, but you know what I mean. This sort of thing.
I do miss it. It was my first passion. It's my first love. I'll always be like an MMA fan first. The UFC is what got me into martial arts and got me into jiu-jitsu. But when you're here at the fights, you get that little bit of anxiety, and it's like, man, I'm glad I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna lie, man.
I mean, we've got Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira in the main event. Like, if you're not feeling something about that fight, you might be dead. Drew Dober, Michael Johnson coming up now. Bruce Buffer doing the introductions. I'm going to put your guys' fight IQs and brains to test a little bit.
Oh, I don't think this is going to go to the ground. I think this is going to be all stand-up.
I mean, what does it look like? And I want a prediction. What do you got?
I'm gonna support the Colorado. I gotta go with the Colorado, Drew Dober. But
All right,
I think Michael Johnson, man, his speed is insane. So.
All right, Mason, I'm going to make you make an argument for Michael Johnson. He's an older guy, a little bit longer in the tooth.
I like both these guys. I'm a fan of both these guys. I think
Me too, yeah.
I think Michael Johnson's a little later on in his career, but
Right.
he still has the knockout power. If Michael Johnson's going to get it done, I think he needs to catch him for sure.
Yusuf, is it true that power is the last thing to go? Do you believe that power is the thing that...
Yeah, I think if you're gifted with it, it's never gonna go away. I do believe that. It's never gonna go away.
Yeah, I mean, I think power abandoned me before I ever had it. So I'm curious, can you still elbow a guy's face in if you wanted to?
I think so. I think so.
Let's not put that to the
Oh,
test.
I know he can. Yeah,
I think so. I had 8 MMA fights. I had 6 amateurs, 2 pros. So I trained for like 5-6 years full time, like MMA every day. I think I still got it. When I'm at the arcade, I hit that little punching bag, you know, I get the high score sometimes. So I still know how to throw a punch a little bit.
See, that's the problem. That's the scary problem
know.
we got to deal with. Now you got to deal with him in the ground.
He just fainted near me, and I got scared. All right, we're underway, by the way. Michael Johnson, Drew Dober. Michael Johnson, the favorite. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
I did not know that. I thought it would be pretty. It's
I
got to
thought
be
it was
pretty close.
pick 'em. I thought it was going to be pick 'em.
Yeah, pick 'em. Pretty close.
I mean, just because the odds are one way or the other doesn't mean that's the true nature of what this one is. I mean,
it's Southpaw versus Southpaw, by the way.
yeah.
How big of a favorite is he?
I'm going to pull that up, and I'll get back to you. But
That's a good point.
Here's the thing. If you are leaning towards Drew Dober in this one, I mean, I'm not going to hate on you, but at the same time, Michael Johnson's been in the UFC for
15 years,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
15, 16 years.
I put together these marathons, these sort of binge watches before the numbered events, and I went back and grabbed Michael Johnson versus Dustin Poirier.
Oh, I was just about to say.
First round knockout.
He knocked him out.
Yeah.
And I think that was like 2016, 2017, something like that. So
That's insane.
yeah. And you see that Johnson landing combination there. Dober comes high with the kick.
But also, Dober is very durable. Like super durable guy.
And both of these guys are capable of performance of the night bonuses. So, this might get wild and crazy real quick.
Doesn't Dober have the most knockouts at lightweight?
He might.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I definitely wouldn't want to bet on this fight. I feel like this is anyone's fight. One punch.
Well, I mean, both of these guys are just capable of winning at any moment.
Look at the legs on Drew Dober.
They're tree trunks.
Like, what is he playing for football
no,
right now? He's
The
not even
Doberman.
fighting.
He's the Doberman, man.
Brother.
They don't call you the Doberman for nothing.
I always hear Drew Dober's name, and then I think of CB Dollaway because he was also a Doberman. There's a lot of pit bulls in this sport, not a lot of Dobermans.
Yeah, there's about 8 pit bulls, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's one in my division.
There's
Pitbull.
pit bulls everywhere.
Yeah,
You
pit
know?
bulls
45,
everywhere.
yeah,
Pit bulls at
145, yeah.
heavyweight.
Uh-oh. That was a clean left.
Mason, you got to look at this fight and just be like, I'm really happy they don't allow kicks in UFC BJJ. That low calf kick.
So happy.
Dude.
I used to hate getting calf kicked every day.
Although
Yeah, that sucks. I hate it too, man.
Sore for a month, dude.
I'm not going to lie. I do see foot sweeps sometimes border on
Oh, they do
The
be
line
throwing
kicks?
kicks
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Brazilians, they
Yeah,
be throwing
by the way,
kicks,
sometimes
bro.
that jiu-jitsu, they be cheating, man. I'm like, that's not a sweep. That's a kick.
Yeah, they kick. They smack you in the back of the head
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's a collar tie or a hook with an open hand.
And they said respectfully, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
It's all in good fun.
Oh, my God.
Michael Johnson does look sharp. He looks fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, super
Strikes-
fast.
it
I'm
looks
telling you,
fast.
man, it's crazy for his age, and he's
Yeah.
that fast. He's insane to me. And powerful, too.
I'm trying to think of what season Ultimate Fighter Michael Johnson was on.
God, I probably was like young. I was a baby, probably.
How old are you, Yusuf?
29.
29. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
In your prime, man. That's your
trying,
prime years.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. We were talking about it. I got signed to the UFC when I was 23 years old, and then got cut, and then back, and then it was a crazy experience. But I was like the 8th or 7th youngest fighter in the whole roster when I got signed.
You know,
Wow.
you're
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
You're the embodiment of something, Yusuf. I say this all the time now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disparaging how hard it is to get to the UFC, but it is harder to get back to the UFC
Yes.
than to get to the UFC
Yes.
at this point. And I think it says a lot about a fighter's character to get the opportunity under the bright lights, maybe not have it go the way you want to, but be able to not only battle back, but to do so where you're the hunted. I mean, if you're a UFC veteran on the outside coming in, everybody's gunning to
Oh,
make their name off you.
First time, I came in. This guy was so confident. And he's like, I need to find this UFC vet. He beats me. He's like, oh, I'm going in and all that. So that was kind of like the challenge part about it. And you also got to prove yourself more than you ever did in the first time because they were like, hey, we signed you. You lost. Now we got to go on. So, but I think what motivated me most too is Ilya became a champion, and
Right.
then he became a double champ, and I'm the only one to take him to a 3-rounder, and then almost finished him as well. So it was kind of like a motivation for me to go push even more.
You know, it's funny. People don't obviously realize that in the moment, but that's one thing I will say why you need to be on UFC Fight Pass. There are future champions that are fighting on the regional level right now on Fight Pass, and I'm sorry, this is a sport where it's casuals and hardcores, and there's nothing better than being the smartest guy in the room, being like, yeah, I was watching that guy on
Hey,
Fury FC. And, you know.
Exactly. That's how I started.
Yeah.
I started on that UFC Fight Pass, baby.
Exactly.
How long was it in between your UFC stints? How long did it take to get back?
So I got re-signed 2 years ago. So
Okay.
I was 23. I think it was 3 years. I'm
And you
pretty
fought
sure.
Ilya
So
in your first stint.
I won 3 in a row, and then it was Ilya UFC debut with me, and then I lost to Sung-Woo Choi, and then I lost to Sean Woodson. That was a close decision, and then I had a draw. I moved down a weight class to 135, and then I had a draw, and then got cut after that.
And
my
how long
contract,
after that did it take you to get back?
I think was, I want to say a year or almost 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
How many fights in between
Uh,
on the local shows?
Bro, it was crazy. So I had 2 MMA fights back to back, and then nobody wanted to fight, and I did a 3-fight in one night.
Oh, you did
wow.
a tournament?
Yeah, I did
Where?
boxing in Colorado. So it was boxing 3 rounds, kickboxing 3 rounds, MMA 3 rounds.
All
With
in
the
one
same
night.
guy?
No, it's
All-
8-man tournament.
Yeah, what do
Oh,
they
that's
call it?
crazy.
Is it Sparta or something?
Sparta King,
yeah,
Sparta
yeah,
King. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a 3-man tournament.
The first round, everyone did boxing.
Everybody did
The
boxing.
second round, everyone did
And
kickboxing.
I'm the only one that fought a boxer. I'm like, these
Oh,
guys
you
all
got-
fought.
You got
because-
the bad luck of the draw. You got a boxer?
Because I had the number 1 seed.
Right, okay.
And then I was fighting number 8 seed.
But
and
he
then
was the boxer.
He was the boxer.
Oh, yeah.
So I won that one, and they said, hey, you go into the Ultimate Fighter. And I was like, cool. I did the Ultimate Fighter, try it out, all that. And then day before I go to the house, they were like, hey, you're an alternate. see you later. And then literally 23 hours later, I got called to the UFC.
Like a last-minute replacement
Last
fight?
minute
Oh,
replacement
sick.
fight.
That's
Yeah.
like destiny.
I know, it was.
That's
I
meant
was-
to be.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
I
it's
was
meant to be.
happy about it. I was grateful for it, man, because I heard the Ultimate Fighter can be a long journey, and it can be a crazy journey
No
as well.
phone,
So,
no
yeah.
internet.
Which is good. Like, no phone and all that is like, doesn't matter. This is what we do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
just
once
a
you
lot
go
of stress,
through,
man.
once you go through
Yeah.
the initial withdrawal effects of not having technology, I think it's great.
yeah, 100%.
Oh,
my God.
Dober looking like Ong Bak there.
I didn't
Miss
know.
with it.
I didn't know those legs can move like that.
I mean, that's the thing. These guys, especially in this division, too, historically speaking, I think lightweight has been one of the most talent-rich divisions. But, like, Dober, who, again, looks as wide as he is tall, going, spinning like that with a kick, that's pretty crazy. I mean, we're talking here, so I'm not going to hold you to task, either of you, but how did you guys score that first round? I thought Michael Johnson maybe had some moments.
I think Michael Johnson. Right?
I wasn't paying attention too closely, to be honest. But this round, Michael Johnson definitely looks like he's winning.
He's very
landing the
crisp
jab.
with his...
He looks sharp. The jab looks sharp.
Bro, I'm still amazed by the leg size difference between those two.
I mean, some people are just blessed with, like, gigantic
Brother.
legs. I don't know if you remember the name Sean Shirk, but he was a guy that, was a UFC champion, was also like Dober, was...
Oh! Just like we
Okay,
said,
if you
it could
don't
end at any
know,
minute.
Drew Dober just knocked out Michael Johnson in devastating fashion.
Out of nowhere.
That's true.
Oh,
right. The first fight is
man.
right hand. Second fight is left hand.
Out of nowhere.
That was crazy.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Perfectly timed right hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what I like about it? Dober had his will tested there. It was a tough fight for him. He's wearing it a little bit, but to steal a quote from Robbie Lawler, when it came hard.
Oh, yeah.
And that was it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Michael Johnson is pretty much out before he hits the mat, and yikes. Oh, in slow motion, it's just a thing of grotesque beauty.
Yeah, I think he has the most knockouts at lightweight. He's added
If
another
he
one.
didn't before, he probably does now.
No, he
mean-
does. He did. I'm pretty sure he did.
That is a highlight reel, to say the
And
least.
I think it's pretty close to Derek Lewis for the most in the UFC.
That's
impressive.
Yeah.
I think you will see it. Watch. I think they're going to pop it.
And again, looking at Michael Johnson, a guy that has just refused to go away, I can't recall Michael Johnson being put out like that. Drew Dober, man, that was and Dober's not a young man in this game either. He's been in the UFC for quite a long time. That might be the biggest sort of knockout victory that he's had to date.
Biggest moment of his career, I'd
Wow.
say. Big
I mean,
opportunity,
On
big
main
card.
main card, too.
I mean, that one's going to be on the highlight reel
we
forever.
have 200,000 contenders right now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think, the last one, you might see a 100,000 bonus in that one.
I'm thinking so. Hey, I got you here. I need to pick both of your brains. This comes down to, like, marketing a little bit. We all know Max Holloway did the thing with Gaethje, points down, whole 10. We need a name for that.
The point down.
It's not sexy enough. You got to be able to sell it.
It's the point down,
See,
throw down.
I like that.
Throw down,
I like
yeah,
that.
throw down.
Point down,
I
throw
was
down.
thinking
Let's get down. Let's go.
it's
The point down, get down. The point down, get
Point
down.
down, get down.
That's the point down, get
Hey,
down.
we got one with the new name, baby.
I don't even know if I
We
should
gotta
share
trademark
mine.
that, bro. We gotta trademark that.
See, I like the Holloway out. You take the Holloway out. No? Okay.
I'm not really feeling that.
You
You gotta take the all the way out.
Damn, he knew he just got caught, too.
I mean,
That's the worst feeling.
I'm blown away that Michael Johnson is there to stand there for the hand raise. I mean, he was not here a moment ago.
That was a good one.
Drew
That was
Dober
wow.
getting it done.
Wow.
Amazing fight.
That was crazy.
Amazing fight.
And Mason's all like, yeah, see, that's why I do jiu-jitsu and don't have to worry about
Watch,
it.
watch.
100%.
I think we'll see it if they add it.
Weird
Oh,
that
wow,
they
he
put
cut him- he
winner
cut him
by
above his eye.
TKO.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's going to get some stitches on that eye. Nice sign of respect from Dober, saying he's been watching Michael Johnson for a long time, which we all have.
Drew Dober, pound for pound, is like definitely one of the nicest guys in the UFC.
Oh, super nice.
So sweetheart. That
Gives
guy,
Wonder Boy a run for his money.
People are telling me things on my phone here. Zalal, I don't want to let you leave, but they're telling me you can go places and go, back to the beautiful people.
Yeah, I gotta go back to my people. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, my pleasure,
amazing.
man.
Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you,
nice
brother.
Nice meeting you,
yeah,
my man.
I look forward to watching your career, dude.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Good luck with everything.
Thank you, my man.
Yusuf Zalal hanging out with us here on the watch along. TJ DeSantis, Mason Fowler. Jens Pulver was supposed to be here, but apparently Mother Nature is conspiring against him. He got stuck. Unfortunately, not able to get on the ground here in Las Vegas. But
it'd be like that sometimes, man. That's how it goes.
You got to roll with the punches. Sometimes the punches keep you from being on the ground. But Mason kind enough to give us a few moments here as we are officially into our main card in Las Vegas. And
got Mackenzie Dern in the crowd.
Yeah. John Silva back in Oliveira.
We lost our cool UFC fighter. Now it's just me and you, man.
I know. It's
just
it's all right.
A commentator and a jiu-jitsu guy now.
I think we're cool.
We're all right. We're not UFC fighters.
That's true. That is true. You're still a UFC BJJ champion.
It just doesn't have that same ring to it, though.
I mean, if I was a champion of anything, Mason, I would tell everyone that.
What if you were like a regional chess champion?
I mean, I'll take it, but
you'll still take it,
dude. I can't play chess. I don't remember all the ways that the certain pieces move.
I know how the pieces move, but I'm not very good though.
Yeah,
but I at least know how the pieces move.
You know when people do that thing with the rook and the king, and they take their little castle out?
They swap them.
How's that legal?
I'm not too sure on that rule. That's the one rule I'm not 100% sure on. But
I one time played Yahoo Chess, and I won, and I was like, okay, I got to quit right now.
Oh, so you know how to play.
No.
You're a champion.
I was just,
You're a champion. In my eyes, you're a champion.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Tom.
Yahoo Male Chess Champion.
That's right.
Probably 1993.
98. Okay. Yeah. What do you think about this this main event? Because it's two Hall of Famers going for the BMF title. Holloway, it's interesting talking about Michael Johnson here a moment ago. There are guys that just stand the test of time, and both of these two gentlemen, Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira, have stood the test of time.
Two Hall of Famers, two legends, two guys that, have some of the most performance bonuses out of any fighters in UFC history. And I love this main event. I think it's the right fight for both of them right now. With that being said, I think Holloway's going to have a big advantage in the striking. And I think it's all going to come down to whether or not Oliveira can actually utilize the grappling at all. Because we've never really seen Max getting dominated with grappling. We don't see him getting taken down. Right. We don't see him getting submitted, except for the one time early in his career where he was submitted by Dustin Poirier.
Yep.
But with that being said, it's very rare that we see him in those grappling positions. So that's, I think, going to be the X factor. Can Charles turn it into somewhat of a grappling match? Oh, are they going to announce the White House card here?
I don't know.
This might be big. Pereira?
I don't
Cyril
know.
gone?
There's
Ilya?
a whole bunch of...
Oh, that's the announcement. It's Pereira, Cyril gone, and Ilya Justin Gaethje. That's the card. Wow.
I want some clarification.
Oh, there's
here.
Gaethje.
Okay, here we go. Gaethje, no-brainer to be on that card. Ilya Topuria, Justin Gaethje at the White House, June 14th. I love it. I love it. That's going to be so crazy.
Great fight.
All right.
Oh, the whole main card.
All right, here we go.
Pereira versus Cyril gone. Sean O'Malley's on the card. Ooh, Rufy versus Michael Chandler.
Bo Nickel.
Kyle Dawkins, Diego Lopez, Steve Garcia. I love this card. I love this card.
All right. How do we get invited, Mason? How do we scheme our way into that?
I think you got a better chance than me, to be honest. I don't know how far the UFC BJJ title goes to get into this card here.
It goes a lot further than no title.
We got to pull all our favors out.
I think so.
We got to do this.
Yeah.
At the White House, live. I'm not doing this from my bedroom. We got to do this at the White House.
Yeah.
I'll pay my own flight. I don't need any per diems.
I'll drive.
I'll drive, yeah.
Yeah.
We might have to make a road trip out of it.
I got a Tesla that drives itself.
We could live stream on the way there.
That would be fun.
Might be a good idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're
all right, get me into this. You got the connections.
I got you fooled is what I got.
Yeah, get me on this.
All right, we'll figure it out. But getting back to what we have tonight, main event of UFC 326, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. You're talking about Max having the edge on the feet. One thing that Oliveira has is some length. Can he try to nullify the striking by maybe getting along with those legs and trying to kick at Holloway?
The kicks are going to be a great strategy. I do think Oliveira's going to have the power advantage. So I think if Oliveira cracks him, it's going to back him up. But if Max gets in that flow state and gets his volume going, it's going to be trouble for Oliveira.
I was watching Max Holloway, Brian Ortega yesterday.
Amazing fight.
And if you remember, there was a lot of people that were kind of concerned about Holloway and maybe battling through some concussions going into that one. He did an interview where he kind of just looked a little bit out of it. Don't know if he was tired or what it was, but this is one of the sports where people say, if you're you can't heal a shin, right? Like a lot of people have been concerned about that. Max Holloway put that sort of to bed. Has had very big wins since then. But one thing about the Ortega fight that really sticks out to me is his ability to get better as the fight goes on at times.
Yeah.
Does Max have more of an advantage the longer the fight goes?
100%, because I think Charles, one of his keys to victory is going to be if he can lock something up in that first round.
Right.
If he can get to the back in the first round, if he can get to the mount, if he can get to a guillotine in the first round, he can catch a submission.
Yeah.
That's going to get more and more difficult as the fight goes on, as blood gets involved, as sweat gets involved. So definitely, first round, Oliveira's got that wild card of hitting a submission. And as the fight goes on, we've seen Holloway just get stronger and stronger. He starts to enter the flow state. He starts throwing the volume strikes. And I think that's where we're going to see Holloway really start to dominate.
You can't afford to let Max Holloway start to have fun and like you said,
at all,
feel that flow state. I just spent 10 days in Hawaii. And I went over to the western side of Oahu, over to Waianae, where Max is from. And you don't think of, Hawaii being anything but paradise, you know what I mean? But there's been a fighting culture on that island, and Max Holloway embodies that. And, that's the thing I think about Max, despite having a very long career here in the UFC, he still truly loves fighting, and I think it's because it makes up who he is as a human being.
It's part of his culture. If you ask anyone, a local that lives in Hawaii, they'll tell you they love to fight in Hawaii.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know what's funny? I was in Hawaii teaching a jiu-jitsu seminar, and I went to Whole Foods, and I ran into Max Holloway there.
Get out of here.
At a Whole Foods in Hawaii, random Whole Foods, yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, I assume that Max is royalty over there, much like BJ Penn was, and is to a certain extent. Like, we don't get enough high-level mixed martial arts over in Hawaii. Going back to the early part of the 2000s, largely before even MMA was anywhere near where it is today, there were some of the best fights going on in the world over in Hawaii. And it's important, I think, to sort of celebrate not only Max, but just that heritage and fight history that comes from Hawaii.
And when are we going to get a UFC Hawaii? That's what I want to know. They've been calling for it forever. I know there's problems with the weather. There's no big arenas over there, but
right, it'd have to be outside. And if you, that's the thing. It rains every day in Hawaii. It might only rain for like 2 minutes, but it rains every day in Hawaii.
They can figure it out.
I mean,
throw a tarp over it.
I think it just makes it more exciting if it does rain. You ever see that old
the Tachi Palace?
Yeah.
The wet and wild fights.
Right. I mean, it's not advisable if you're in the fight yourself, but as a spectator, it's fun.
Nuts, yeah, nuts.
I think Eve Edwards was on one of those cards, and he just couldn't stop himself from kicking. And every time he would kick, he'd end up on his back. So.
Fighting is already scary enough, but to be like having to deal with the rain and slipping all over the place, that would be a nightmare.
It's funny how much weather has actually played a factor in big fights in mixed martial arts history. You mentioned the Tachi Palace. Like, I remember they had a black mat, and they were outside of the Central Valley sun. And
awful.
I mean, if you take someone down on that, as soon as their back hits the mat, they're done.
Yeah, even just at our jiu-jitsu gym, like we have some of the mats, there's a window and the sun gets on the mats, and it's awful.
No, thank you. I mean, if fighting wasn't scary enough, you got to worry about second-degree burns from. There's rug
the
burn
sun in your eyes.
Yeah.
From when the sun's glaring through the window and it gets in your eyes, it's the worst.
Yeah,
I can't imagine fighting outside.
All right. Up next, Rob Font making the walk. He's
Now,
taking on.
Raul is a huge favorite in this fight.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a betting guy, but I always see that big line. In any UFC fight, when you have a big betting favorite, I immediately go, am I wrong? Is that right? That seems crazy to me. But Rob Font's a tough guy. You can't sleep on Rob Font. But one thing I will say about Raul Rosas, he's one of 3 fighting Rosas brothers. He's got Kevin, Jesse, his brothers. Raul in the UFC, the only one of the Rosases that are in the UFC. Everyone seems to think that Raul's the oldest because he's in the UFC. He's the youngest. And what a way to sort of inspire your older brothers by being in the octagon and motivating them to try to catch up with you.
Yeah, in his first UFC fight, he was still in high school, I believe.
Yeah,
they were saying he had to go back to
18.
school the next day. Imagine like winning a fight in the UFC and then showing up at your high school.
How do you, as a teacher, tell a kid to behave when they're fighting in the UFC?
Yeah, impossible.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Fowler, I really need to be on time.
Or what?
Right. Exactly.
Or what?
Exactly.
What are you going to do about it?
And you know that's the thing too. If you remember, Raul, he lost one of his early UFC fights. The only loss thus far. There were a lot of people like, see, this is why you don't sign a kid that young. Wheels are going to fall off. They haven't fallen off. And to be where he's at right now, but to have faced adversity and respond, that's the thing. Like, obviously, in combat sports, you never want to lose. But I think in mixed martial arts in particular, losing at one point or another is really important.
Sometimes it can be the best thing for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How old is he now? He's got to be what, 20, 21?
21.
21.
And he's a veteran at this point.
And he's got what, 6 fights in the UFC?
Yeah.
And some big fights. He fought at the Sphere.
Yeah. I mean, I try to think about the pressure that I had on myself as a young kid. There was not real pressure. I mean, going out there as a young man before you can, pretty much barely before you go to a rated R movie, you're living a life that seems like a fantasy. And Raul Rosas has definitely done everything he needs to sort of embrace the moment and shine. I just love when he says chihuihuis.
We're definitely going to get a couple chihuihuis tonight, 100%.
You need to come up with a chihuihuis.
I know. I have the whole, like, kissing my opponents thing, but I think that's kind of played out. I got to think of something new.
You remember Heath Herring?
Yeah. I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Google it.
Yeah.
Just Google it. Oh, man. We're talking about fighting cultures. It is really cool to see Mexico, which has predominantly been a boxing country, really start to not only have stars in MMA, but really embrace that culture. You know, I don't know if MMA is ever going to overtake boxing as the national combat sport, but there are a lot of really talented Mexicans that are, you know, coming up and getting into the UFC. And Raul Rosas, an American, but a Mexican-American, and very proud of his culture. And that's what I love about the sport. It's very international, and we're starting to see some of the countries that weren't always MMA top of mind really have their representation in the
There's
outcome.
MMA everywhere now, and even with jiu-jitsu, like, you know, at the big jiu-jitsu tournaments, it would always be all Brazilians, and then it would be maybe like 1 or 2 Americans.
Yeah.
And now we have all these people in Australia. We have all these people in the UK. You know, Asia, all over the world, we have big stars coming into grappling, and it's even more so in the UFC. We have, you know, these fighting cultures are everywhere. We were talking about Hawaii having a fighting culture, but think about Mexico. Think about all the great boxers that came out of Mexico.
Since the pandemic, Eddie Bravo has brought his tournament down south of the border a lot, and I will say having EBI down there, that's really spurred the local jiu-jitsu community. There are a ton of great gyms for jiu-jitsu in Cancun, and obviously they have a PI down there. Like, it's exciting to see the sport of mixed martial arts grow, but I think as of late, we've seen jiu-jitsu really start to take a foothold in places that it otherwise didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you have guys now in the UK that can beat any of the top jiu-jitsu players in the world, and that I mean, it wasn't the case 10 years ago at all.
Yeah, and you talk about the UK, like, I remember the knock in a lot of English fighters where they can't wrestle, they can't grapple. Everybody can do it all, much more than they could in the earlier, you know, evolution days of mixed martial arts.
think also we have access to technology, so
Right.
now it's like, you know, there's different instructional videos. You
Yeah.
can study tape. I mean, if you wanna coach a fighter, if you're an intelligent person, you can study fights.
Yeah.
And you can train a fighter to be, you know, world class. There's just so much information out there now.
You being a guy who's frequented the Pacific Northwest in your day, I'm going to mention a Pacific Northwest guy who found his way to a UFC championship, and he started by just using instructionals and training himself in a garage. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, Pacific Northwest.
He wasn't originally from there. He settled with the team there.
Was it Team Quest?
Yep.
What, is it Chael?
No.
He found himself to a UFC title fight, and he was Team Quest.
He was a champion.
Oh, he was a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then it could be Dan Henderson?
No, but close.
Oh, man, he was a champion out of Team Quest.
Do you want me to tell you who he beat to win the title?
Yeah, who did he beat to win the title? That's going to give it up, though.
David Terrell.
Oh, my goodness.
He lost it to Rich Franklin.
Oh, he passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tanner.
Evan Tanner.
Evan Tanner, yeah.
Yep. He was from Amarillo, Texas, and basically just got instructional.
I didn't know he trained up there. He trained up there with Team Quest for a bit? Oh,
yep,
okay.
Yep. Towards the latter part of his career, he stayed in Oregon, but was not with them. Evan Tanner was an interesting guy, and one of my favorite fighters back in the day. Rob Font, Raul
He was a little
Rosas
before my
Jr.
time.
I mean,
A little before my time.
how old are you?
I'm 33.
I'm not used to being the eldest guy by 9 years on the show. I
Yeah.
don't like that. Can you get older?
I'm trying.
Wait, can I
I'm
get
trying.
younger?
No.
No.
I'm trying to catch up to you, but
It's not going to happen.
it's tough, yeah.
I got
It's
a
one
big
of those
lead,
things.
and I think I'll maintain it. My son just jokingly said the other day, he's like, yeah, I think he's still the same age as me. And it's like, yeah, that's how it works, bud.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Big fight for Raul Rosas here. Big
Oh,
fight.
yeah.
This is going to be the difference of his trajectory. You know, if he wins this fight, he's going to be on his way to the title in just a few fights.
Give me a path to victory for Raul Rosas Jr.
I mean, he needs to grapple. His grappling's so good. His grappling's so good, and we haven't seen him at the highest level of the sport with his striking. Obviously, he's still working on his striking, but we need to see some improved striking tonight, and we need to see him able to utilize his wrestling and his grappling. His wrestling and his grappling is already world class.
This isn't a fair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you think it's easier for the grappler to develop a striking game or the striker to develop a grappling game?
I think it's easier for the striker because they don't have to develop a grappling game. They just have to not let the fight get into the grappling.
That's fair.
Whereas the grappler, to develop the striking game, you have to actually strike with the person.
That's true. That is very true. You know, I think about a striker, just their striking alone can nullify a lot of the grappling.
Yep. I mean, look at Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Impossible to take down. Look at Jose Aldo in his prime. He never really had to be an amazing grappler. He just had to not let it go to the ground.
You know what's funny? When Aldo made his WEC debut, he was billed to me as a grappler. And then,
Really?
yeah, and I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he was a good grappler, but I remember being in the building in Florida when he fought a kid named Jonathan Brookins, and that's when I first saw the low kicks.
Some great grappling in that fight, huh?
Oh, my God.
Real good grappling those. Yeah.
He grappled the lead leg
Yeah.
of Jonathan Brookins over and over again with his leg. Font very aggressive here. A lot of head movement.
A lot of chihuahuas out in the crowd. I wish you guys were here in person to hear this.
I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do. I'm not going to do it now, but to say chihuahuas in the manner. Font moving, giving Rosas a couple of different looks, but he is not really engaged to throw in volume. Going back to orthodox and southpaw. I like Rosas here. He's not getting over aggressive. He's sort of forcing Font to come after him.
Being patient, keeping his distance, and I think he's going to look to take a big shot at some point in the next minute or so, if I had to guess.
Look at the shoulders, the back of Raul Rosas. Like, that is...
He's grown into his frame for sure.
Trying to get a bit of a takedown there is fun. Not really a takedown per se, but did trip him up. I always admire the ability for these guys like Font here to sort of go back between orthodox and southpaw.
Raul definitely, I think, showing some improvements in his striking. His striking looks a lot sharper already than what we've seen in the past.
Got caught off balance there a little bit. A lot of footwork here, a lot of movement by Rosas. What was your favorite part about striking when you were doing MMA? Single leg takedown here for Rosas.
I mean, it's very similar to jiu-jitsu in a way. You know, you're kind of playing that same chess game. But I think what I liked more about striking is that you can get a little more into a flow. There's more movement.
Right.
And jiu-jitsu is a lot more like you explode and then you find places to hold and rest. It's a lot of holding and a lot of slowly moving, and then you'll get in a big scramble and then you'll hold position and rest. And striking's a lot more constant. So it's a lot easier to find yourself in that flow state.
Look at the back here for Rosas.
Big double leg.
Now back to the floor.
That's exactly what Rosas needed.
Were you a pattern guy when you were striking? Were you one that, you know, tried to keep a beat to your footwork and movement?
I would say that I would just, you try to just get into a zone and just let things go. You try to mix things up. You try to throw different combinations and have a good variation in your strikes.
Yeah, I think in striking there are times where you try to maybe catch your opponent slipping, maybe lull them to sleep with movement. Same thing can be said for jiu-jitsu. Are there any similarities there?
Yeah, I would say definitely in jiu-jitsu sometimes you want to just be relaxed and you want to kind of go from 0 to 100 and time your techniques at the right time. And that's something Gordon was really good at too. Gordon would come very relaxed and then he would go really fast to a single leg or something like that. And that's something you see with a lot of strikers. They'll go slow, and then they'll speed change and they'll go into a big dynamic strike. So I think there's a lot of similarities between the two.
Inside the final minute of the opening round, Rosas not doing a lot in terms of damage on Font, but he's been bullying him here a little bit. Font gets back up and he just drug back down to the mat.
And he's winning rounds.
Yep.
That's what he needs to do. You know, he's a young kid. He's got great grappling. At this point, it's his first ranked opponent. He needs to win rounds.
Yeah, I mean, just talk about that, too. When you're fighting a guy with the number next to their name, I mean, maybe Raul is not susceptible to the pressure because his entire career has been under pressure, but the mental preparation of just allowing yourself to believe, like, look, I belong in there with the best in the world. It doesn't matter if they have a number next to their name. A lot of that preparation happens right alongside the physical stuff, I think, as well.
He definitely came into this fight motivated. He knows that this is his chance to get into the rankings. He probably trained his ass off. He's a young kid. He's durable. And right now he's fighting really, really smart. He won the first round for sure.
Absolutely.
So he's doing exactly what he needs to do.
And, you know, we talk about damage being the number one criteria with judging, but I think something that doesn't really get brought up is stealing the will of your opponent. That doesn't necessarily have to come only by way of damage. And Font, I mean, he's not necessarily hurt, but he's breathing heavy because, I mean, he was bullied a bit.
And this is a big similarity between any martial arts is, you know, if you want to put someone away, you got to slowly break them down and get them tired. Someone that's tired is going to be a lot easier to knock out. Someone that's tired is going to be a lot easier to submit. It goes both ways. So he's doing the right thing, draining the battery.
I can't believe we just saw that White House card announced, by the way. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, great card. Can't wait to see Ilya back.
Can't wait to be there with you, Mason Fowler.
Oh, we got to manifest it.
I mean, round 2 underway. You see that stance from Font? He's got a very wide base. It doesn't seem like he's ready to attack as much as maybe he was in the first round. And obviously getting drugged down in the mud repeatedly is going to maybe change the way you approach. Very weird. He's almost like
in
a
weird, like
squat.
hunched. Yeah. He doesn't want to get taken down again. Yeah. He's in a real low stance. He's ready to sprawl. There's
in
a
on another
single.
takedown.
Nice little dump. Let's see if he can turn this into a control position.
Font doing a
Nice
good job.
counter.
Wow.
Very good counter from Rob Font.
See if Font elects to try to stand here.
Raul's just doing a crazy scramble here. Yeah. Oh, he's in a triangle. He's locked in a triangle right now. He's going to be very aware, and I think he's going to be able to get out of this.
I mean, those shoulders are wider than a freeway. I don't know how you triangle those. You know, I really like that. You mentioned the scramble there by Rosas. Found himself in a bad situation, and because he knows he's such a superior grappler in his mind, he's willing to just kind of sell out, go for broke, and finds himself in top position.
And these guys, he's 21 years old. These guys, like, they're going to fight out of bad positions. He's not waiting for the perfect moment to do anything. He just knows that he needs to go, and when it's his time to go, he goes, and look what happens. He ends up in the top position.
Yes, I think a lot of times you see fighters get in a bad position and they almost overthink it. And it's like, just go, like you said, you know.
Rob was looking for a rubber guard for a little while there, but Raul, he was able to get over the opposite leg, and now he's in a really dominant position. He's going to be able to control here and maybe even potentially pass. You see how he's trying to get his knee over Rob Font's knee there?
Yep.
That's kind of the key to securing the pinning position. And if Rob can free his foot, he's going to go back to close guard and maybe attack that rubber guard again. See, Raul's, as soon as he gets his knee over the knee there, now he's good. The rubber guard's not going to be effective from this position. And if Rob tries to force it, he'll actually hurt himself.
Who's the biggest guy you've had in your guard, and what was it like to sort of try to wrap that up?
There was one guy I competed against at the black belt level in the gi at the European Championships. He was like 450 pounds, I think.
Really?
I couldn't close my legs around him in the guard.
An athletic 450 pounds?
I mean, he's a big, giant behemoth of a guy.
Raul trying to get the back here. He does. Got a right hook in.
Rob's trying to escape the hips over the bottom hook here. If he's able to get his hips to the mat, he's going to get out. He's back to this kind of almost closed guard position where his foot's trapped.
Yeah, half butterfly, we'll call it. Yeah, Font is active off his back, yeah.
He's got good jiu-jitsu. The problem is that Raul, he also has good jiu-jitsu, and he trains with some of the guys there at 10th Planet, Andy Varela and those other. He's got a bunch of high-level jiu-jitsu players there. So Raul, he's seen all this. He's seen people trying to triangle him. He's seen people trying to omoplata him. Like, that's not the first time anyone's ever thrown an omoplata on him.
Right.
So he's able to defend it.
I mean, omoplata is a very weird and interesting submission attempt because I think more often than not, you don't get the sub, but you can sort of induce a scramble. But Rosas able to shut it down. Now he's in half guard.
Yeah, the problem with creating scrambles with Raul is that he's freaking 21 years old and he can scramble for 15 minutes, no problem. But Font is showing great jiu-jitsu attacks from the bottom here. He showed omoplatas, triangles. Now he's in the Kimura attack here.
My favorite submission, by the way.
Kimura?
Yeah, because it is so versatile. Like, obviously there's a submission there, but more often than not, you're going to get a sweep out of it at least if you're doing it the right way.
And Raul's doing a good job of hiding his hand inside of his stomach right now. That's pretty much the only thing that's saving him from getting flipped or submitted. As long as he keeps his hand on the inside, yeah, now he's out.
Yeah, I mean, Font is putting up a valiant effort here, but he just can't get enough sequences going to get ahead of Raul.
I think he's trying to play too much jiu-jitsu. You got to use the jiu-jitsu to create an opening and then use that to get back up, or else you're just going to lose rounds. He's kind of fallen in love with the jiu-jitsu on bottom here.
And again, you know, Raul is sort of making Font try to, you know, just respond, and Font really can't get anything going. And, you know, we're 10 seconds away from this round expiring, and it's going to be another round that sees Raul Rosas get a 10 written next to his name.
So people were saying Font won the first round. That's what some of the comments on the screen were saying, but I don't know. I think Raul's up 2-0. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time pronouncing his name tonight.
Because it's like Raul Rosas.
Yeah. So I'm saying Raul.
Yeah, I have a hard time with, like, the same sound happening twice. Like, I can't say Lindland, like Matt the Law Lindland.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, very tough.
Yeah, I think Raul's definitely up 2 rounds at this point. All he's got to do is more of the same. Don't get caught in any submissions. Stay in the top position, and should have a number next to his name come Monday.
Have you seen anything that Font has done to where maybe it's just one or two adjustments and maybe, where he gets to that triangle position or gets to that Kimura trap? Anything you can do to capitalize more so?
Their level of grappling is too close. So Rob is getting to a submission, and then Raul's defending it.
Right.
There's not a big enough gap in the jiu-jitsu skill level for him to actually get to the finish, because there needs to be a big gap there. So, like, he gets to the triangle, but his timing isn't perfect to actually finishing the triangle. He gets to the Kimura, his technique isn't perfect to finish the Kimura. So the problem is their skill level's too similar in the grappling.
Round 3 underway. TJ DeSantis, Mason Fowler, if you're just joining us, this is the watch along. I know what you're thinking. Where the heck is Jen's Pulver? Unfortunately, Jen's got caught up in some weather systems, flights getting canceled and all sorts of stuff. He wishes he would be here. But we're trying to hold it down. We appreciate you joining us.
It's a hostile takeover. We took over the watch party.
Do not say that. They will come after us.
I'm sorry, Jens. I'm just kidding.
I don't know what I fear more, Jen's Pulver getting mad we took the show over for a night, or the fans that might think we're trying to.
Yeah, he's got the diehard fan base, huh? Okay, I was just kidding. It was just a joke, guys.
First fight I ever went to in person, Jen's Pulver in the main event. It took place on a volleyball court in a little town called Fridley, Minnesota.
The first fight you ever went to?
Yeah. He fought Rob Emerson in Rob Emerson's MMA debut.
It's crazy how things come full circle.
I know. Speaking of full circle, we're back in a position we've been in before. Raul Rosas on top.
And now Raul's pretty much passed.
Ooh, stepping over.
Stepping over the legs. He can walk straight up into the mount at any time. So this is a much better position than we've seen him in previously.
Crawling up that body.
Rob Font's not going to have any good submission threats from here. He's got that body triangle around the knees. That's a great technique there.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do there? Just sit there, I think.
He has to frame. He has to use his arms frame and try to clear one of his knees into like a butterfly hook.
And, Font isn't doing a bad job, per se. He's doing what he can, but, again, he's stuck in a pattern where he just can't get ahead. Giving up his back now is Font.
The problem when you get close to a submission is then you think, like, all right, I could tap him. And then you just keep going for submissions instead of being like, okay, I need to just get back up to my feet.
Nice. Rosas able to get Font back down, see if he can try to take the back here. And that's the thing, too. Like, you see Rosas was thinking about trying to take the back. He doesn't get it, but he ends up in top half. And it's just, no matter what, Raul, even if he doesn't get what he's going for, he ends up in a superior position over and over again. Would you like to see Rosas maybe try to land some more effective ground and pound?
Of course, but at the same time, the more that you open up to strike, the harder it is to control, and the more you also open yourself up to getting caught in a submission.
100%. I called fights last night in Porterville, California. You know where that is?
Of course, yeah. Was it at
Eagle Mountain?
Eagle Mountain. I made my pro debut there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Main event guy was probably 26 seconds away from winning a belt, and got caught with a jump knee to the solar plexus, liver side. It was over.
Who fought? Was it a lot of local guys on the card?
Yeah. The guy that won in the main event was named Umberto Bandanai. He fought a guy named Amin Gazimov. Bandanai, UFC veteran. But, yeah, there's a lot. Like, actually, the main event had originally fallen off. It was supposed to be Raul's brother, Jesse Rosas. But Jesse's opponent missed weight by 5 pounds. Central Valley's got rich MMA history, and 559 fights available right now. Check out the Encore on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, I fought on 559 fights, too, a couple times back in the day.
That was my second 559 show, and just fun. Just
great promotion, yeah.
Absolutely.
Been around forever. They've had so many fighters that have ended up making it to the UFC.
Yeah, mostly amateurs, but they've been doing a couple pro shows now that they're on Fight Pass, and it's great to see. That part of the country, and especially that state of California, it needs an outlet for these guys to showcase their skills. And showcasing more grappling dominance here is Raul Rosas. inside the final minute.
Yeah, final minute. Now I think, like you said, time to open up with a little bit more strikes, maybe try to put the hooks in and get a choke.
But again, I mean, this is the biggest opportunity of Rosas' career thus far, and it's a test where he's probably not going to get a stoppage, Mason, but going to be the biggest win of his career. And like you said, going to have a number next to his name come Monday morning.
Yeah, he's doing what he has to do to get the win and get both his paychecks.
Hail Mary, knee bar attempt, rolling through his font. Raul wise to it, and that's a wrap. Tough night at the office for Rob Font, and a positionally dominant night by Raul Rosas. And, you know, this is going to be a win that, again, puts a number next to his name, but just continues to show a lot of potential at a very young age.
Yeah, definitely we could see this kid fighting for a UFC title one day. I don't think that's out of the question at all. He's on his way there.
Tell me what you got coming up.
Yeah, we got UFC BJJ this Thursday night. I'm going to be the main event against Pedro Machado. He's somebody that has a win over me a few years ago, and I've been waiting to try to get that one back, and I'm finally going to have the opportunity. So it's a stacked card. We have the co-main event is the first ever women's title fight for that division, and we have Fionn, who's one of the top most popular female athletes in jiu-jitsu right now. And then we also have Nikki Rod on the card. We have Mayhem, who's like a young kid out of Brazil. He's a star in the sport. The whole card is just like completely stacked. So it's going to be a great night of jiu-jitsu for sure.
I mean, I don't want to hear you ever say that I'm more likely to get anything in life that you would want when you're the main event. Main event Mason.
Main event Mason, let's get me to the White House.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
There you go. Yeah. They're telling me that I can't waste main event Mason's time.
Yeah, main event
longer.
Mason, we got things to do, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me, man.
It's my pleasure. We need to do more of this. I always
absolutely
feel like you allow me to believe that we're friends when we talk.
We're friends. We're friends for sure.
30-27 across the board. No surprise.
Raul Rosas. We gotta get the Chihuihuis before I take off. Definitely.
Yeah, you gotta wait for that.
We need the live Chihuihuis reaction.
Are you gonna say it?
Yeah, I'll say it.
Okay.
You gonna say it?
Nope.
You're too
Floor
cool.
is yours.
You're too
you
cool
own the
to say
spotlight main
Chihuihuis?
event. Okay, I'll say it. Think I could pull off a sombrero like that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
See, that's why you're my real friend. You're honest with me. I appreciate that. Raul Rosas Jr. picking up his 5th straight win, second longest in the bantamweight division. Look at that man. How is that man a bantamweight? He looks like he's 200 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, he's pretty jacked.
Confidence on his side. Rosas pointing out that he's 21 years old, ranked in the UFC. I just want to be quiet so I hear Chihuihuis.
Raul, this does move you into the top 15. So as you advance, you're obviously very young with amazing potential. Who would you like to face next? Anybody in the top 10, man. I'm going for the belt. If there's anybody that can stop me in here, then I'm not ready for the belt. So whoever, Dana, let's go. Let's bring it, baby. Congratulations, sir.
We're not going to get it?
Junior, ladies and gentlemen.
Joe Rogan let me down there. It was like all real with his questions.
Took the mic. They don't want the Chihuihuis, man.
Yeah.
They don't want it on Paramount.
I like it, though. Raul's saying he's not afraid to earn his way to a title. Now in the top 15, wants a top 10, and we will see what happens.
Oh, Marky Mark in the house.
Where's his funky bunch?
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to let you get back to the funky bunch.
I'm out of here.
Main event Mason. Yeah, absolutely. Don't miss Mason Fowler. Headed your way next Thursday night. Part of UFC BJJ. All right, that does it for us You know, without Jens, we feel like we really can't do the watch along properly. So we're gonna let you guys go and check this out. Co-main event right around the corner. Main event. Let's not forget Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. Gonna be a fun one to say the least. All right, for everybody that has made this night possible, I want to thank them. My producers, Steve and Frankie. Isaac doing his thing, making the board sound much better than it would if he weren't here. And thanks for joining us. All right, enjoy the rest of the UFC. Until then, we'll see you.